So I haven't uploaded a video for a while, partly because I was away for 2 weeks with my family, and partly I'll explain how these two cards have been impacting me. So before September, I was doing readings for myself, as I always do. I genuinely do guide my life with the cards. And the card that kept popping up for September was the Five of Pentacles. Now, let's be honest, nobody really likes this card, okay? It is lack to me. It is traditionally, I think it's connected with sort of labour and travail and working hard, and it certainly can be the birth of something new. But it is connected with continuing to push on even when you don't feel you have enough. That lack can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be financial, can be any form of lack. But the other card that kept popping up, which really fascinated me, was the Four of Swords. Because even though they're not the same window, both cards have a stained glass window in them. And we can therefore suggest that we have the exterior church and the interior of the church. Now, when Five of Pentacles crops up on its own, I think we really need to ask ourselves, is now the time to push through? This can often reflect labour or work, so is now the time to be independent and to just keep pushing through. And the Four of Swords is the polar opposite. The Four of Swords is rest. I often liken this to the plimsoll line on a cargo ship. That black line that is around the hull of the cargo ship. And you keep putting weight on the cargo ship, and the ship keeps sinking, of course. And when it hits the cargo line, what it's saying is, you can still put more cargo on this ship. But if you hit a storm or an issue, then the ship may well sink. And I think that is a perfect analogy for the Four of Swords, which is, yes, you're still coping, but you must find ways to take a proper break or a proper rest because the coping's not working. Because this is exactly what happened on our holiday. It was an amazing holiday. We went to Sicily. I'd never been to a Mediterranean country before. I'd never been to Southern Europe before. It was truly amazing, truly beautiful. Such a wonderful place to visit. But as I started to relax and rest, I really began to appreciate just how lacking in energy I was. The trip it ended with a flight delay of over 24 hours, which is quite extraordinary, really. The first plane was damaged by a bird strike. We waited at the airport whilst they tried to repair it. Then we were finally sent to a hotel at about 1 in the morning. Bussed back quite early because a second plane had come in. When the second plane came in, they found that had mechanical problems. So we then had to continue waiting at the airport for a third plane, which meant that we didn't get to the UK till about 1:30, and then finally home at about sort of 3:30, 4 in the morning. So the burnout I was beginning to feel in Sicily was totally compounded by the extensive delay. And what I found now that we're back in the UK is that I need to rest. I am napping between clients, which I never do. And the duality between these cards is really tuning into, is now the time to push through? Or is now the time to pause and break? And one of the things that I love about the Three of Swords is the Three Swords here, which of course is linked to the Three of Swords, and feeling your emotional pain. Because how many of us work through emotional pain? How many of us when we're starting to feel sad or to ponder things that have happened to us, instead of sitting with it, instead of processing the emotion, how many of us get up and do something instead? And definitely the way that I've survived the last 5 years, both financially and emotionally, is by being a workaholic. There is no doubt about that. But my body is now forcing me to rest. I'm finding that I can't push through the way that I have done in the past. And actually, what's happening is there's that Ace of Swords, the new idea, the new way of understanding, the new way of planning and thinking. I am finding better ways to manage my work life than I did when I was just pushing forward. And so this feels to me like a real transformation and growth. And I'm sharing this because the best way to really understand the cards is to live through them. And I'm living through this duality now. For those of you that are interested, I'm just reaching across in the runes. I will add a rune to this dynamic as well. So, yeah, my workaholic, my burning the candle at both ends, had a limited time frame, which, is quite logical, really. And now I am learning how to take proper rest, and that is helping me to process the emotion that I had been working to avoid. And it's helping me to have a better way of planning, understanding, and processing my work and my personal life. If we were going to sort of reflect these in runes, if we like, for me, definitely when I was in the workaholic mode, this rune is Craft, working with the younger Futhark. The deity is Loki. This is chaos. This is drama fueled. I definitely enjoyed the drama of being overworked. It left no time to consider my emotional state, and it worked really well for me. I've avoided, and the rune is Hoggle, and the deity is Heimdall. And these two are literally polar opposites in the fact that this is chaos and this is structure. And yet, because nothing's that simple, right? In the center where they meet, they are both change. Because our Heimdall, is also connected with hailstorms. The sudden storm that comes in, clears the way, and allows for regrowth. I should point out at this point, I'm talking merely about the runes. I'm just pausing to say I'm very aware of what's happening in America, and just sending so much love and blessings for anybody who is caught up in the terrible storms in America. Just feel drawn. I have to say that. I want to say that. I don't have to say it. I want to say it. So they are both change, but they are changing in different ways. Craft is chaotic, not thinking, reactive change, which is definitely where I was when I was in workaholic. And Heimdall is about planning, strategy, and taking a better, broad view at the situation, which is where I'm hoping I am now. And so, as ever, trying to demonstrate how to help with the tarot as well. What I've been doing is daily, really, just this little reading just to keep me on track. And it's just 3 cards, and it's super simple. Where am I? What do I need to do? What do I need to know? Where am I? I'm at the cusp of a new way of living. Definitely. Feels anxious because it feels new. I'm not used to resting and having a calmer strategy. What do I need to do? I need to keep on resting. The High Priestess, yes, 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 we all love her for her spiritual and mystic sense, but she's about withdrawing. She is about being alone. She is about being alone in that true sense, not being on Netflix, not being on the phone, but just sitting by ourselves and just being. And I've been doing a lot of this in the last week and it's really helping. And what do I need to do? There you go. Can't make it up. I need to rest. And what we're doing when we're looking at the cards is we're looking for the meaning between the cards. And, the meaning between these two cards, with the stained glass window being the shared symbol, is, are the cards suggesting that now is the time to push through? Or are the cards suggesting now is the time to rest? And the connection between these two is the isolation, the loneliness, the withdrawal. And I mean loneliness here in a positive sense, spending time alone. So still a real focus on not doing as much as I have been and taking the time to rest and be alone. Always good to look at the card at the bottom of the pack. You probably might be able to hear A, we've got builders in, and B, I do have quite a chesty cough. So I'm going to go in a minute and take a very large drink. But still, this connection here, all three cards are cards of reflection, spending time alone, and in effect, resting. That's why I love tarot. That's why I love the runes. I will still be on here. I will still be creating content because I love creating content and it brings me so much joy. And I will also be catching up with all the comments. I hope you found this helpful and I hope to be back super soon with more videos.